Hey guys, it's Rachel. I know it isn't Thankful Thursday and I know today's Sunday and the videos have kind of been all over the place, and am I wearing the same top I wore last week? It's been cold outside. Anyway, so we're trying to get in order with videos, and obviously some of the members of the group have had some problems because of what's been going on the East Coast in America. So all our thoughts and prayers have been out to them, and there's been a lot of dialogue about that, and all that's really mattered to us is that they've been able to be safe, really. So hopefully things will start to fall back into place, and I know my videos have been quite sporadic and not completely when they should be. So today is Sunday, and the last thing that we're looking at, as far as I'm aware, is to do surrounding yourself with positive people, because we've looked at insecurities, haven't we, and we've looked at comparison, and we've looked at flaws, and like I said the other week, like I don't like that word. I don't particularly think it's a helpful word to use, so I sort of discussed that, really, more so than accepting our flaws. I discussed not referring to them as that. So in terms of surrounding yourself by positive people, so I'm just sat on my brother's bed. I hear from a lot of people, and a lot of people that I work with, and it isn't just within eating disorders and mental health, it's generally as well. And there is a really good quote, which I actually can't remember. It's something to do with before you kind of start judging your own life, sort of like figure out who the assholes in your life are, really. And you may have a lot of people in your life who you don't consciously see as being negative particularly, but they can be having an impact on you on a subconscious level. So one of the examples perhaps I can use for myself is, when I was recovering, I got to a point, and I know a lot of people discuss this, and they have done recently with me, whereby they can see that they are still friends with a lot of people who are still perhaps ill. And it doesn't mean that those people are negative people, okay? It just means that those people are in their illness, okay? So as a person, and I know we're supposed to judge somebody as a person, they are very consumed by their illness. So you may feel you need to take a step back from them. So they as a person aren't negative, but the behaviours and their illnesses can be having a negative impact on you because, for example, you may be constantly worrying about that person, and that may be impacting your recovery. So in that sense, it's negative. Another type of negativity can be people who you have in your life who you tend to give a lot of support to, but who don't offer you that support back. And again, that doesn't mean that they are bad people because of it. It means that they are perhaps very entrenched in whatever's going on for them, and that doesn't necessarily mean illness. These can be people who, I've had friends in my life who haven't had mental health problems, haven't had those issues, but at periods of time, not purposely, they've had a negative impact on me because I've wanted their friendship, I've wanted more from them, and they've not been able to offer it me, whether it be because they are too busy with their lives, which is normally what it is, or they actually don't really know how to cope with the illness. And so they're not negative people. Again, they're not negative people. It's just that it almost feels negative on me because it's upsetting me. And whilst I don't want to close the door on that, I might want to say, right, I want to be able to surround myself with positive people, in the sense that people who can support me. And this is where you make a lot of connections with the people who struggle perhaps, and also who have struggled. And some of my closest friends are people who've recovered from mental health problems, and then my closest friends because we understand one another and we've been there. And we can connect on a level that's very different than perhaps with other friends in my life who haven't had those experiences. And so they, for me, are very positive people. I know that if I'm struggling, that the feedback I always get will be positive. It will always make me feel hopeful. It will always make me feel loved. It will always make me feel supported. And whilst maybe they don't need to give anything other than I'm thinking of you, or I understand this must be really difficult but you can get through it. That in itself is a positive experience. And my family are kind of the same with me. They will identify something that might not quite be right or going on for me, and they will express their concern, and they may say, you know, I really feel that this needs addressing, and I appreciate you're doing all that you can, but we'll leave it at that. And that's kind of, that's enough, really. And my mum is a worrier, and she is somebody that, while she puts things in a box, because that works for her, it doesn't work for me, she also is very honest, very upfront, and she certainly isn't in denial about anything. And there have been things that perhaps I've thought she is, but at the end of the day, she wouldn't have had me at the GP within 2 months of an eating disorder if she was in denial of things or had me put in hospital at certain points. So for her, it's been a learning curve. So that's not been negative for me. Her concern has been positive. Having friends who worry has been positive, because it's helped me identify difficulties in certain areas, issues that might be going on for me that I can't identify myself necessarily. Positivity comes in that sense. It comes in that sense as having friends who can call you on issues. One of them, my mum said to me earlier today, actually, and it was quite interesting, because she's only just got back, actually. She's been in France, only got back yesterday. And we were speaking about an appointment I had with my psychiatrist, and I spoke to him also the other day, and she was just kind of saying, you know, I do hope this medication does, you know, level you out, because I'm on lithium now, because I know that you do struggle with kind of being quite hyperactive, and you know, you have your moments where you feel very low, and yet she understands that hyperactivity in me as something that's always been there, and I suppose that comes under what I've struggled with. But she has a positive impact on me, because she's not making me feel bad for that behaviour, okay? So she's saying to me, your whole life, Rach, you've been hyperactive. I've always talked too much. I've always been very loud. I've always needed to be around people. I've always needed a lot of attention. I've always been very jumpy. I've always had no concentration, needed to be with my friends, hung out with my friends, had loads of energy. And that's kind of how I've always been. And my psychiatrist recognises that in me. And as of yet, he hasn't identified that as a particular problem. He obviously has identified the lows as a problem, and what I find helpful and positive with him is that he hasn't given a name to anything for me, okay? So he knows that when I walk in there with my red docs and a bright pink t-shirt or jumper and like a hat on my head and loads of jewellery on and what have you, his response the first time he saw that after this summer's depression was, oh, Rach is back. And that's how I am. That's the person that I am. And whilst it may be extreme at times, and for some people it might seem too much, people like my parents, people who know me, know that that's how I am. And I can't be anything else than that. And I can't change. If I am somebody who is loud and speaks too fast and makes crazy videos and does all sorts of things that normal other people would, that's what I do. And yeah, I'm 31, and yeah, at times I have to be really sensible, and I have to sit down, I have to write my assignment on cognitive psychology, and I have to like tune into that part of my brain, or I have to sit down and do some of my writing and take that really seriously, or I have to do a serious presentations that I've done before. But I can also have fun, and it's what's positive. The positive people for me are the people who know that and who don't overanalyze things for me. And whilst I adore and love the people who worry for me, I think it gets to a point whereby it doesn't help, because it's putting in your head, if you're constantly being told you are something, it's making it feel like you aren't who you are. And so everything that you do, you then question rather than just live your life. And at the end of the day, my life is very positive. I have massively positive people in it. I go around to the kids at 3 o'clock. I expect to spend a couple of hours there. I end up there till 1 in the morning, because I end up running around with the kids, chatting to Kath and doing all of that. But that's who I am, and that's the Rachel people grew up with, and that's the Rachel that my godchildren know me as, and it's the Rachel my friends know me as, and it's the Rachel who people who meet me now know me as. It's the Rachel that when my friends are with me who've known me over the years, they're like, oh my god, I love seeing you this happy. I think somebody wrote that on my wall on Facebook the other day. I love seeing you smiling so much. I love seeing all the energy in you, and that's very real energy. And then maybe I will have a few days where I don't have as much energy. I might feel a bit shit because a lot has been changing. But I need that positive reinforcement for myself as well. I need to remember that I can be a happy and positive person, and it doesn't have to be negative. And I can then, you know, when I surround myself with positive people, that's what's there for me. And no, maybe that isn't realistic forever. Maybe I can't constantly, you can't be in a constant state of happiness that you know, you're going to go up and down. You're going to feel happy, and then you're maybe going to feel reflective, and then you're maybe going to have to feel like, it's like, tomorrow I would like to get up and kind of do some writing. So that will be me getting up, focusing myself, kind of mellowing myself. You know, when I wake up in the morning, I always go and make myself a pot of tea, and I sit and I drink my tea out of my little lovely china teacups. And you know, that's what I did today. Hung out with my parents. Chelsea's still here. Then just went out for coffee, went for a walk, you know, and that's what life is. And that's for me what life is. And if I'm going to always be up and down, the only people I want around me are the people who are supportive of that and who accept that and don't judge me for that. And they're the people you need in your life. You need the people who can accept who you are. And you don't need validation from them. You need them to accept who you are, love you for who you are, and support you in who you are. Okay guys, I love you, and you will probably see me on Thursday. Okay.